With the introduction of VisionPro, Apple entered officially in the new era of its user interface style, the Glassmorphism. With this video, I'll create a view modifier to add a touch of Glassmorphism to your apps. Let me remind you that you can find full code of this final project in my Patreon page. Glassmorphism is a design trend in user interface and graphic design that emerged in early 2020. It is characterized by a visual style that simulates frosted glass or blurred translucent materials, creating a sense of depth and realism in digital interfaces. Reproducing this kind of UI is quite easy once you know the key elements. The main element is obvious. All the UI objects are placed over a glass panel floating on the background. The second and very important element is based on light reflection. A real glass panel in the space as border, and the reflected environment lights concentrate on the borders. Let's take a look at the example shown in this picture. This is a typical Glassmorphic menu. We can see that the main light comes from the top left of the screen and hits the UI elements from there. On the bottom right corner, we can see a secondary reflection where the light hits the object but with less intensity, since it is reflected by other sources of the environment. Moreover, all the border is hit by some degree of light, creating a tiny line around it. Very well, let's create a new SwiftUI project in Xcode. As stated before, we need to implement the effect with two key elements. The glass panel will be done using a material ultra-thin material, and the reflection will be recreated with a combination of a stroke line around the main area and a linear gradient of colors. So let's take a look at the gradient first. We know that the light hits from the top left corner and goes to the bottom right one, so let's create it empirically, starting with a field view. I played a little with the list of colors and their opacity until I found something that I liked. I have used the field view to gain a better perspective of the final result and more control at this stage. Please note the start point and the end point of the gradient on the view. As stated before, the light comes from the top left corner of the screen. Now let's create the Glassmorphic background to a simple label. I've created an image to the background to help the visualization of the full effect. Let's now add the real code to create the magic. Our previously coded gradient is here. I've added some padding and a frame to the text view itself to make it more readable. The background modifier created the glass panel itself. As stated before, I've added a material, ultra-thin material, in order to add the translucent effect using simple SwiftUI components. I've also added a small shadow extending on the bottom right area in order to simulate a floating effect of the panel itself. The overlay modifier creates a stroke over it all, simulating the light reflection. Please note the linear gradient with our beloved gradient with both colors and direction. It's now time to add some other elements. Let's add, for instance, some more text, and let's see what is the result. Well, the result is pretty nice, I dare say. The code works, yes, but it is not the best solution. There is one issue indeed. To achieve this effect on different views, we need to write lines of code over and over. So guess what? let's refactor our code. Very well, so let's create a new file where we will code a Glassmorphism extension. Let's create a new struct that conforms to the view modifier protocol. Please note that in our code the corner radius of the view is used twice, so a better idea would be to use it as a parameter for our function. With a little view extension, we can make it even more usable. The Glassmorphism modifier makes all more readable and easier to maintain. With a bit of imagination, you can create wonderful glassmorphic UIs in perfect Apple style. If you're using the dark mode for your app, I've noticed that the reflections are a little too bright, so let's modify our code to fix this issue. The solution is very easy, just add the environment color scheme and use it to detect if you are running on light or dark mode. According to your color scheme, just adjust the opacity of the gradients. That's all. It was a very easy and fast solution. Thank you for watching, please subscribe, and remember that the whole code of this tutorial can be found on my Patreon page. Thank you!